We are MDT. We design, test, and create precision rifle chassis and accessories to help you shoot better.
We're out here with Team MDT doing some testing on how far we can take out a 450 Bushmaster. 450 Bushmaster is a popular cartridge in states like Michigan where straight wall cartridges are legal, but neck down center fire cartridges are not legal for hunting big game in the area.
What is this?
This cartridge is typically in that 100 to 150 yard range.
Well, let's see if we can push that further.
So today we're using the HNT 26 chassis. We're gonna set this up on a rock pile, which is a realistic scenario if you're out hunting, and we're gonna see how far we can reach out.
Spotter up. Impact. Look, like quarter.
That was awesome. I only needed 2/10.
2/10, yep.
You want to put one more on it for good measure?
Yeah.
Same spot?
Same spot.
All right, at this point, I want to bring in my teammate, Francis Cologne. When I thought back at it, I was kind of aiming center of the plate, which is what I'm used to in these steel target matches. Yeah. So as we move down the line here, I'm going to be kind of trying to center my groups up more towards the vital zone of the animal. And we're going to probably have him duplicate it on the 6.5 Creed from the same position to show you guys kind of the back and forth of the precision of the various weapon systems and what you can or should and should not be doing on an actual game.
Impact. There you go.
So the remaining energy is 641 foot-pounds. Do with that information what you will.
Yep, I'm just slightly high, about a 10th.
That would have put him down.
But I think he would be dead pig.
All right, I'm on it.
All right, spotter's up. Smack. There we go.
Let's do it with a 6.5.
All right, so reference, Chad, what were you using for elevation?
Elevation was 6.9 mils.
All right, so 6.9 mils, and are correct, we are around 448 yards. So for a 6.5 Creedmoor, that's actually a 2.1 mil solution. So quite a big difference between the two cartridges. All right. That's another dead goat. All right, so now we're pushing out to 533 yards on the elk. We calibrated this round for that distance, so we're gonna see how close that gets, but this is a pretty slow round by the time it gets to 533.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're at 991 remaining velocity, 991 feet per second. It might just bounce off the hide of an elk and roll down the mountain.
We'll find out in a minute. Impact. All right, neither of those shots would have been something I want to see.
I think we're right there. I'm going to send one more, coming down 1/10. All right, that's a dead elk, boys.
Yep, I like that. All right, so on this shot, 533 is pretty short for a 6.5. I'm dialed at 3.5. What were you dialed at, Chad?
9.8.
All right, so 9.8 versus 3.5. I would call that a dead elk. All right, so good question just came up. So between the last two targets, one prior to this, we had some trouble getting on it, and we had to make a lot of corrections. But then this one, we hit 2 out of 3 pretty quickly with very little correction. What's the difference there?
Yeah, we went into the Kestrel and made a drop scale correction for this bullet. So we basically measured how low we were and then entered the actual data into the Kestrel, and it said, okay, this is what you should be using for the next target. So we're gonna take what we just learned from the elk and we're gonna push it out a little farther.
Bang, right out in the keister. So we're gonna need a whole lot more left.
I'll measure it.
Ooh, that looked just under belly. Impact. Well, that's 2 out of 3 at that range.
Impact.
Impact.
That's a dead moose.
Dead moose. Okay. Unfortunately, we went down and we checked it, and we actually, the second shot was off in the ass as well. Okay. So we hit 2 butt shots. Spotter up. Impact.
What? No way.
No way. I can't tell where, but I mean, I watched the bullet drop in like a rock out of this horizon. They're like coming down like me. That's a good shot. Bam!
Oh.
Right in the, I mean, I don't know how much better it gets than that shot. I think you should end it with that one.
God bless America.
All right, well, I'm gonna send a 6.5, but only because, frankly, I'm gonna put it on top of that round. Okay, so we still have a dead animal, but it's a little high and a little left.
Harry, you want to borrow my straight wall?
Yeah. I think this might do a little better job based on what you just did. I'm gonna, just because I think it's interesting, I'm gonna walk through the stats on energy and a few other things on the 6.5, and then I'm gonna have him read yours for this 450 Bushmaster, which has no business doing what we're about to do.
Yeah.
To be candid. At 974 yards, I'm using about 7.7 mils of elevation. Max ord, the height above line of sight, is 95 inches with this projectile. It's still at 1,600 feet a second with 790 foot-pounds of energy on target. Now let's talk about the straight-walled Bushmaster.
Got some stats for you. Okay, so 974 yards, 32 mils of elevation. By the way, the scope only had with a 20 MOA base, 22.4. So I left it at 22, and I'm gonna hold over 10 mils. So
That's
I'll be
a lot.
holding 10 mils of elevation.
So 50% of your elevation is in holds.
Yes.
Just about.
450 inches of max ord.
Okay, I like that stat.
Remaining velocity, 736 feet per second. Remaining energy, 300 foot-pounds.
It would be still, that's a lot of energy on target still, relatively speaking.
Okay.
It's a lot more than
Let's do it.
Thanks. Come left from the IPSC, like 4 mils. Oh, just over the top of the square. Yeah, just between the two. Perfect elevation. Oh, right off the right shoulder. That one was way left, so now we're going back. We're dancing left and right. Oh! At that distance, I mean, that's a long ways to ask. Between the holds and the performance of the round, we're gonna see if this 6.5 Creed gives us an advantage.
Impact.
Impact. There we go.
Impact.
This is honestly pretty wild to watch a straight wall cartridge that we use in Michigan for deer hunting. At 100 to 200 yards is what most people think of that rifle, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've proven it's capable in that 300 to 400 yard range. Past that, cone of fire is makes me a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, I agree. And to be clear, that takes an expert shooter who knows his rifle, has taken the time to true, knows their velocity perfectly well, perfect zero, perfect environmentals, and it's very confident.
Yeah.
So if there were any kind of wind or unknown distance, animals that are walking or not having a perfect range because of the distance between you and the target, would you take that same shot at 400?
No, probably not.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's, I think this is probably the best case scenario for the 450, and honestly, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I'm impressed too. That was fun.